Hello, comrades. I want to share with you a pamphlet that I came across. It's called Brothers in Arms, the Red Army Faction in its Perception of the Black Panther Party. And I just wanted to say that I consider myself a Black Panther 100%. Black Panther Party was originally a socialist movement, and I take it a step further for myself into communism. And just so you know, I'm obviously not a racist at all. There are a lot of Black Panthers that I've met over the years that are racist, but that doesn't mean all of them are. The new Black Panther Party is the party that's racist and believes in black nationalism, which is no better than Zionism in my eyes. All right. So German terrorism and African American liberation. In September 1968, FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover declared the Black Panther Party, the BPP, to be the greatest threat to the internal security of the country, as an armed, self-declared revolutionary party grown out of African American civil rights movement. The Black Panthers Party did not only bring uncomfortable nights to Mr. Hoover. Many parts of the white establishment also feared the radical appearance and rhetoric of the Panthers. In 1977, the so-called Duster Herbst German Autumn lay itself over the German Federal Republic, as another armed, self-declared revolutionary party was instilling fear and loathing. The Red Army faction, RAF, committed several acts of terrorism to perpetrate. It declared war on the state. Some scholars, like Gotts Alle, have perceived the RAF as a direct consequence of ever-present, unconscious dark side of the German student protest movement, which had developed through the 1960s. This new left had gained momentum in February 1968 when the International Vietnam Congress was organized in Berlin, where some representatives of the Students' Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC, took part in the creative strategies of the civil rights organization in their struggle for radical equality, had greatly influenced the German student protest movement. Klimp has traced the various ideological alliances and cultural appropriations which bound the student protest movements in Germany. U.S. radical America was attracting German attention, especially because of the war in Vietnam, and the civil rights movement functioned as a dialectic signifier of erupting youth rebellion all around the globe. Following this pattern, the RAF the RAF has referenced the BPP frequently, and even applied the same word "pigs" for their enemy, the police. In German public perception, the RAF has grown into mythic proportion, not the least through its presence in popular culture. The same is true for the symbolism surrounding debates over the BPP. In the U.S., in both cases, revolutionary rhetoric, actual events, and unconscious fantasies have blurred into the mythic whole. This essay intends to cut through the fog to interpret the original agenda of both groups within the specific context. I am especially interested to figure out whether the cultural appropriation of the BPP by the RAF is ideologically valid, and if so, under which preconditions, as both of these organizations claim to be influenced by Marxist-Leninist principles. I wish to explore whether the RAF is basically modeled after the BPP, or did impulses and motivations within the German Weissenheit trigger its initiation. To base the examination on solid ground, and founding manifestos of two groups are used as main source alongside statement from their key figures. German quotes, which I have translated into English, are marked. Alright. The RAF and the BPP, a very brief introduction. This essay does not focus on the actual history of the RAF and the BPP, and only a very basic summary is provided in the following. For the comprehensive and extraordinary details of history of the RAF, see Ost. Editor Crowshaw provides numerous essays to cover the phenomenon from various perspectives. For the Panther history, with a special emphasis on their relation to the violence, see Austin. The context of the entire African American history after 1945 is provided by Marable. The first action of one of the ones who would later form the core of the RAF took place in April 1968. Gudrun Ensslin and Andreas Bader set on fire two shopping malls in Frankfurt, Maine to raise consciousness. As Ensslin declared after her arrest, "We did it to protest the ignorance of the people watching the genocide in Vietnam." Translated. First two years the RAF was formally founded after the re-imprisoned Bader and had been freed by Ensslin and Ulrich Meinhof, a well-known investigative journalist. Her founding manifesto, Die Rote Armee auf Ruben, built up the Red Army, is what it means, declared the RAF a revolutionary Marxist-Leninist organization intended to overthrow the capitalist system. In the years to come, the RAF assassinated numerous state representatives and assaulted German and American institutions to perpetuate its self-declared war on the state, and to insist upon the freedom of the imprisoned core members of the group. The climax of the violent confrontation between the RAF and the German state marked the events of the fall of 1977. The Deutscher Herbst, the head of the Federation of Employers, Hans Martin Schleyer, and was taken hostage, and the Lufthansa airport Landshut was hijacked to ultimately press free the leaders of the RAF, which completely failed as German special forces freed all airplane hostages. Andreas Bader, Gudrun Ensslin, and other core members of the group committed suicide in the Stammheim prison, and the RAF executed Schleyer in response. Until 1998, when the organization eventually declared its existence, over 33 people had fallen victim to the murderous actions of the RAF. In October 1966, Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale founded the Black Panther Party for self-defense in Oakland, California, inspired by Malcolm X. The Panthers carried weapons to defend themselves and the black communities, which had often been brutalized by the police. The initial 10-point program demanded freedom, justice, independence for the African Americans. Their appearance, black leather jackets, berets, and rifles, would soon become iconic, and within a few years, the BPP had grown into a national organization to meet the needs of the people in the communities. They focused on various social programs like children's schools, health care, and free breakfast programs. After various ideological splits and a violent counterintelligence campaign by the FBI, the BPP lost much of its influence in 1970s and eventually dissolved in 1982. I conceptualize two phases of different ideological emphasis which will be examined in this paper. The early Panthers, 1966 through 69, and the later Panthers, 1969 through 1972. And that's basically a short summary of the Black Panther Party and the RAF. And I'm going to continue to read on more. Let me see. So, yeah, I'll continue to read on more in my next video. Alright, thank you guys.